So, I got banned from Twitter just yesterday. And I think I've mulled that over enough that I have some things to say about that. So, first off, I've had a really bad week for personal reasons. All stuff having to do with the real world. And I think having had that experience, it kind of puts in perspective something as inane as a Twitter ban. Like, I've just had, I don't want to get into it because I don't want people to mock my personal life, but fucking, I've been emotionally drained. Just totally fucking, just top to bottom. Like, it's not even really that important. I'm not talking about it because it's something that necessarily concerns me, and I have other ulterior motives, so to speak. Another thing is that I've noticed a lot of people either taking breaks from Twitter or taking breaks from the internet almost entirely due to Twitter being... due to the discourse on Twitter getting more aggressive and more confrontational. And I understand that. Like, I had no intention of leaving Twitter because I am a tower of iron will, but not everyone has that ability. Not everyone has that fortitude. And I respect that. If you need to take a break from Twitter or the internet writ large, then please, by all means, do so. Don't burn out. Because that's bad. Burning out is bad. It's very bad. But also, and more pertinently, the discourse on Twitter has gotten so bad recently. Everything has become just hyper-aggressive. Everything's just become incredibly confrontational. And I have some ideas about this that... I'm gonna have to go into it separately because I don't want to go off on too many tangents. This is me ranting, by the way. But a lot of it has to do, I think, with the midterms here in the US, and how a lot of people view, rightly or wrongly, mostly rightly, the upcoming elections as a competition. And people being aggressive and people being posturing and people treating things like a competition is because they're competing in their minds. So some prick on Twitter having, oh, wait, fucking Mike Cernovich and fucking James Gunn. So some idiot saying something on Twitter does have real world consequences. Go fucking figure. And I think everyone is trying to do something like that to some degree. People are trying to bring down Trump, as they have been trying to bring down Trump for almost 2 years. People are trying to bring down other candidates, whether it be the socialist candidate that was elected up in New York. I think it was New York. Yeah, I think it was New York. Or various GOP candidates. Like, no lie, I've been trying to do that, but in real life. And, people have been trying to bring each other down. And it's just... it's not a good place to be. It's not a good thing to interact with on a day-to-day basis, because it wears down at you. If you're not accustomed to that kind of thing, it wears down at you a lot. And the other thing maybe that I wanted to discuss is how maybe it seems to me that maybe it seems to me that Twitter is becoming a platform more for white nationalists and anti-trans activists and other assorted quasi-fascist groups. I'll try that again. Twitter started out as a platform primarily concerned with freedom of speech, and it still upholds that largely to this day. And there were times when they did important things or helped facilitate important things, like the Arab Spring, for example. That was, at least ostensibly, a good thing that Twitter helped accomplish. But I need to word this carefully. White nationalists, certain religious extremists, and other kinds of fascists, yeah, that'll work, have taken note of what can be done on a platform like Twitter, and they are exploiting it as much as they can. Look at the thing with Mike Cernovich and James Gunn, again, for an example. And you have groups like these anti-trans activists, or even the white nationalists, who are actively getting people banned from Twitter. I'm fairly certain that it's one of those groups, or maybe a Russian bot who I might have accidentally interacted with, who ended up getting me banned from Twitter. But I don't know, because Twitter didn't have the decency to tell me what it is that I was banned for, other than some vague violation of terms and service. Twitter knows the kind of audience that they're cultivating. The people at Twitter are very much aware of this problem. It's just that they either don't know how to deal with it, or they don't care. And if they don't care, then they are creating a platform for these white nationalists, for religious extremists, for the alt-right, for anti-trans activists, for fascists. There is a video by ContraPoints. I believe that it's called Does the Left Hate Free Speech? Part 2, where she describes in great detail how upholding one person's free speech in some circumstances can repress another person's free speech. That is to say that not all free speech is created equal. There's a difference between someone saying, I want to kill all the Jewish people, and someone else saying, that isn't something that I agree with. And a lot of times, oftentimes I found, these disagreements with white nationalists or with anti-trans activists turn into a shouting match of, oh, you can't control what I believe! But if you are upholding the free speech of the white nationalists who want to kill everyone who isn't white, which is what they want to do, read the Turner Diaries, or a group like anti-trans activists who are actively seeking to end transgender people as a concept, which is what they're doing, look it up, then you are de facto repressing the free speech of those people whom they are assaulting. Whether it be non-white people, whether it be neurodivergent people like myself, whether it be trans people, whether it be people of certain religious or ethnic minorities. And I don't want to be a part of that. I think that even if they decided to reverse that decision and give Twitter back, give me back my Twitter who's or what's it, I don't think I would want it. I don't have any interest in being on a platform where the most notable voices are the voices of people who would repress the rights of others. Or the furthest reaching voices are voices that are quashing out dissent, quashing out differentiation in ideology, in spirituality, or in ethnicity. That's not something I'm interested in. So, I don't know. Well, I do know. I'm not going to go back to Twitter. I'm not going to create a second account. It would just be... It's not something I want. Well, that nonsense is done. Had a very bad week. A lot of very devastating personal things have happened. Well, not to me so much as to people that I care about, and I'm having to also deal with it. Because, you know, when you care about someone, that's what you do. There's a thing. There's an anti-Trump protest that I've been invited to in Granite City, just south of here. Trump's coming there to, hurrah, 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 steel workers or something. And the issue is a bit more complex than that. There's a steel factory that's up and running, at least in part, maybe due to tariffs. But, there's another factory just in Missouri that is facing layoffs for the same reason. And that's to say nothing of, Harley Davidson, which Trump has said that he's going to actively undermine. It's complex, but people don't like complexity. Things being complex makes it harder to be right or wrong, and people want to be right, ultimately. Because everything's a competition. But yeah, I'm going to be up there, probably going to be recording the whole thing on this camera that I've got here. So maybe look forward to that. I should be over there. I think the thing is on Thursday, so the whole protest will either go up on Friday or Saturday. Maybe Sunday at the latest, if there's a riot, which I hope that there's not. I just jinxed it, didn't I?